Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the monastery. Welcome to the 10th anniversary celebration here at the monastery. And before we start, can everyone please ensure that your phone is on silent, please? And my name is Simon, and I'm kind of your MC today. And I'm also a member of the PSV committee, responsible for event coordination. And it's so wonderful to see so many of you here today, celebrating this special occasion. Maybe if you can quickly put the program for the day on the screen, so people get a rough idea of what to expect. Okay, we will actually, before we start, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owner and custodian of the land, and pay respect to the elders of the past, present, and also extend the same respect to everyone here. So with that in mind, we will start our program soon with a series of short speeches, starting with Adrian, the president of BSB, followed by a special message from Ajahn Brahm, recorded on video, and our head monk, Ajahn Nissarano, will speak after that, followed by Ayya Upekkha, and our special guest, John Wakefield. Great. And okay, the rest of the program you can see on the screen. And just want to highlight that there will be no Pindapata today due to time constraint. So, and we'll conclude roughly at 2 p.m. today. So with that in mind, let me invite Adrian, the president of BSV, and the president of BSV, Adrian, please.
Thank you.
Good morning.
When I get introduced as a president, I always get very embarrassed. You should introduce me as just one of the volunteers. Like any of you, we are all just volunteers to service the society as well as the Buddha Sasana. Positions sometimes can be very dangerous. It boosts up your ego, so be careful of that. Yeah. Before I start, I also like to acknowledge the First Nation people. And in our First Nation people, I always get this hard name to remember. We have the Jajah as the traditional owners of the land and the water on which we are now. We also acknowledge the traditional, the neighboring traditional owners, the Wurundjeri to our southeast, and the Wadawurrung to the southwest, and pay our respects to all Aboriginal people, the culture and the law. We acknowledge the living cultures and the unique role they play in the life of this region. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Ayyas and Ajahns and Ayyas, to let us celebrate this significant 10 years anniversary of the Newbury Buddhist Monastery. And thank you all here to be with us to share and rejoice with such an achievement in the last 10 years. BSB could never thought that within the last 10 years we could build this Newbury at such a fast pace in the last 10 years. But of course, this could not be happened without the great support and significant support from the monastics, Ajahn Brahm, our mega solid goal support, as well as the BSV people here and the community. And the dana that we receive from the local people in Victoria, all over Australia, as well as overseas. They help us to achieve what we achieved today. You can see from here the presence of the ambience, the buildings coming up. So it is a great joy to be here, to rejoice to rejoice on your contribution that you have made for the building of this place. Also, one thing I like to remind that you should also rejoice on the significant benefits that your contribution to the monastery has given. It provides a lot of opportunity for people to come to this place to practice the Buddha Dharma and to realize the blissfulness of meditation And that's what the monks and nuns are here for, and to renounce the life and to experience the blissfulness. And hopefully that all of you here, the community, can enjoy the blissfulness more so when the meditation retreat center is completed, which we hope will be soon, later this year. And we will have a short tour of the building site later on. And if you'd like to proceed further, I'd like to thank the various people. I've already thanked the local people and the overseas people for the dana. But we must also not forget the residents, the long-term residents of the Newbury. They have been guarding the fort since day one. The monks and the nuns, they've been working very hard to maintain the place. I remember when we moved to this property here, most of the buildings here were so run down. And in those days, the pioneers, John Wakefield, ex-Monk Jag, and Ayya Upekkha, and the monks and nuns who were staying here, and the long-term lay residents, they worked very, very hard to repair the damages. And within a few years, through all the hard work, some of the damages, especially the water pipes and electrical systems, were stabilized. If not, otherwise you get plumbing issues almost every day and outages every day. And those were the hard times that we are very, very grateful to the monks and nuns who reside during the early days. And a lot of sacrifices they had to put in there, and we really must acknowledge and be grateful for the effort that we put there. And with the, oh, hi Peter, Peter just arrived. Hi Peter.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. As mentioned by Ajahn Nissarano, three great people that I'd like to acknowledge are John Wakefield, ex-Monk Jag, Ayya Upekkha, and Peter Basalu. Thank you. The concept of establishing the monasteries came up from there, from some discussion by ex-Monk Jag, John Wakefield and Upekkha and a few other people here. And the concept was very much supported by Ajahn Brahm and the community here. It took 2 years to look for the property, and we found this property, and we couldn't get through the stumbling block whereby the owner refused to sell to us because they thought that we didn't have the money. And we almost gave up to pursue this project until Peter Vassalo came along and approached the committee and asked the committee to give him a chance to negotiate with the owner. So I remember hearing that Peter Vassalo said that he would drive his sports car to arrive here and show the owner that we do have something to offer. And he did manage to convince the ex-owner to sell it to the BSB. And not only that, Peter Vassalo has negotiated a very favorable 1-year term. That is to allow the BSB to raise the required funds to purchase the property. Thank you, Peter. He played a very critical role in the purchase of the property. So, as I mentioned, that we are very thankful to the residents, monks and nuns, and in particular, Ayya Upekkha and the nuns who were there through thick and thin, have been here from day one. And also some of the nuns who have left, we also must acknowledge for their sacrifices they put in. And in the last few years, we are very thankful to Ayya Sankappa and Ayya Sunata for being with Ayya Upekkha to support the fourfold community here. And we are very grateful to all of you, the nuns. And we also thank you for Ayya Sunata who coming back, who was with us and who was ordained as a nun, and who are here to be with us to rejoice in these great achievements there. I'd like to also thank one of the longest serving residing monks who are at Newbury, and that is Ajahn Bodhicitta. Thank you. He has been with us for so many years, maintaining and repairing the properties. No one's seen that, but things don't magically happen by themselves and get repaired unless someone tend to them. Thank you, Ajahn. And of course, I must thank Ajahn Nissarano for stabilizing the monastery. And Ajahn Bodhicho for working so hard with the building project. And a few other monks who are ex-Buddhayana, they have returned to Buddhayana, and they have play a very significant role in the constructions and the building of this monastery here. And thank you to all the other monks who are here to give us the support as well. And lastly, I must thank you, all of you, for giving your significant support and your blessings to be with us today. And I hope that you will rejoice in such a great celebrations, and you have many more years to enjoy the fruits of your good karma that you have cast for the benefits of all the sentient beings. And this afternoon, we'll have a short visit to the retreat center to give you a short glimpse of what will be coming up shortly in the future, and more to come too as well. Thank you very much to allow me to give you a short speech, and do enjoy your day. Thanks. And do I call? Video next. Okay.
Video next.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, this is Ajahn Brahm here from Bodhinyana Monastery in the west of Australia, sending a wishing of congratulations, well done, celebration of 10 years of Newbury Buddhist Monastery. It's a wonderful achievement to have gotten this far. There's been many difficulties on the road to get this far, but you've passed those difficulties, and that's a beautiful, wonderful thing to have achieved. It's not easy building a monastery in today's world. There's so many regulations. Some of those regulations kind of don't fit a monastic life, especially a forest monastic life. In some of the places where I've stayed, either in Sri Lanka or in Thailand, in caves and under the trees, there are wonderful places for monks to stay, but we have regulations now. So we have to keep those regulations, which mean even monasteries, to build them is really expensive. But I can look at it that way, the difficulties, but you can also look at it, all the wonderful challenges which you have passed. It's been hard work, it's been difficult. And you look now at Newbury Buddhist Monastery and the retreat centre as it is, and it's a huge achievement. I say achievement because it's taken so many funds, so many fundraisers, so many monks' hard work, so many committee members' hard work, so many lay people just coming in there and helping out wherever they could. And this is what you have as a result. And it's brilliant. How many other retreat centres like Newbury Buddhist Monastery Retreat Centre have we in this world? When I designed the retreat centre here in Perth, I made sure it was comfortable, because I don't want people who go on retreats or even go to Buddhist monasteries as monks or nuns to live in such a way that it makes them sick or it's not conducive. Sometimes I think we're not really supporting them. And if we revere the Sangha, we support the Sangha, we want to make sure that bhikkhus and bhikkhunis and those entering the path of being bhikkhus and bhikkhunis really have as much support as we can possibly give them, so that they can live a peaceful, happy, comfortable life. And so I'm glad we had to put in so much work and effort to make the Newbury Buddhist Monastery and the retreat centre finished to the standard which it has been done. It's a beautiful achievement. And anybody who thinks, oh, this is just too hard work, now is the time to look at what you've done. Look at all that's been completed. And when you see how it has been completed, it gives you the energy, it gives you the confidence to carry on. And little by little, not making it just the main purpose of having a monastery to raise funds, but just making the main purpose of a monastery is to support the fourfold parisa. The fourfold parisa means community of bhikkhus, community of bhikkhunis, community of white robe lay men followers, white robe lay women followers, people who are actually following Buddhism as the Buddha wanted it to be followed. And you've got basically to the first stage there. You have a monastery with a retreat centre, and the amount of good karma you must have made from that must be huge. I always said many times that when you can support a bhikkhu sangha and a bhikkhuni sangha in the same place, the same monastery, that's a huge opportunity to make excellent good karma. That's what the Buddha said. The best possible good karma you can make, basically in Australian language, where you can get the biggest bang for your bucks in donations, is to that dual sangha. And you can see it's happening. And it's amazing. You can have a nun's monastery, bhikkhuni monastery, a bhikkhu monastery, and also the retreat centre for the lay community in the same place. I don't think you have to worry once you've got to that stage that eventually the funds will come in to be able to complete a Dhamma hall in Newbury Buddhist Monastery retreat centre, and the other accommodation for the retreatants, other kutis for the bhikkhunis, other kutis for the bhikkhus. You've got to the most important stage, the beginning. And once you get to that stage, people always know it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And they will continue on, helping, serving, looking after you, and just being so inspired by what's happening. So many things in this world today, people tell me, make people kind of depressed. When the governments can't be in harmony, when people say bad things about one another, especially people who you should respect, who are leaders, people you cannot find confidence in. But hopefully you can find confidence in the Buddhist Society of Victoria and all of the Sangha there, the committee there, all the people who've been there for such a long time. And even though I'm not on the committee of the Buddhist Society of Victoria, you know I've been supporting the BSV for so many years, and it's like a dream come true to have a monastery in Melbourne associated with the BSV, where monks and nuns can go and can train, can be taught. As a beautiful, inspirational place, for everybody who's listening to this video, to everybody who has children, who want their children, to get good teachings, good understanding, and good sort of training, even if they want to become monks and nuns. Imagine that, some of your children, if they get so inspired by the monks and nuns which they see, and eventually they say, that's what I would like to do with my life, to make my life as a Buddhist monk or a Buddhist nun who can teach these amazing, wonderful Dhamma of the Lord Buddha to so many people, as somebody who's actually walking that path, as somebody who is a person who keeps their precepts and practices their meditation and achieves some of the great insights which are still available to people today. So congratulations, everybody who's involved in any which way to Newbury Buddhist Monastery and the retreat centre. Sadhu, 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 congratulations to you all. And may you use this occasion of the birthday celebration of Newbury Buddhist Monastery as a place to celebrate your contributions, to see what has been done and rejoice in that. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Let us thank Ajahn Brahm for that congratulation message. And personally, I feel really grateful to be here. And as we know, starting to build something is always very difficult, right? Especially the first few steps. And with that in mind, I would like to thank Ayya Upekkha and Monk Jag for doing all the hard yards right from the beginning. Without that, we wouldn't be here. And with an attitude of gratitude, let's invite Ajahn Nissarano to share his thought with us. Yes. Thank you, Ajahn.
I think I'll be quite brief. I've already said quite a bit, but it is wonderful to, amazing to have that opportunity to actually establish a new monastery. This is such good karma, really. It's incredible good karma. And I'd just like to mention that Ajahn Brahm had an addition to his video. He said, "Can you please read this out?" This is the main purpose of my, my talk, really. And he says, Ajahn Brahm also recognises the sacrifice and hard work of the Bhikkhuni community at NBM. And certainly I do, and I think all the community does. They've done the hard yakka, looking after the community, looking after the guests, looking after the food, helping in many, many ways. So they've done that for 10 years tirelessly. And now, of course, with the meditation centre coming, some of their duties will be, they'll be relieved of some of their duties. Fantastic. They won't be saying, "Oh, hang on, hang on." Hopefully they'll let go of them, and then that gives them more opportunity for more formal practice and more solitude as this becomes an area dedicated to them. So really today, for me, is the day for Ayya Upekkha and ex-Monk Jag. That's what it is for me, and so I won't be talking very much. But Ayya Upekkha was to be on a 2-week retreat, so I say to her, thank you, sadhu indeed, sadhu, for sacrificing those few days at the beginning of the retreat so that she could be here. It would not be complete without her. I really feel that. And of course she's also prepared a PowerPoint which actually covers a lot of the points Adrian mentioned too, so that's great. And as I said, I've been coming to Newbury throughout the years, and when I was living in Sri Lanka, and came here back to Australia in November 2019, and I got trapped by COVID. And then I actually came here on the 10th of July 2020 when we were having a lockdown. It was going to be a lockdown that night, and they thought it would be much better to come here food-wise and everything, because people may not be able to come to the centre. So that was that was part of the reason that prompted me to come here. And I like to think of this monastery, Ajahn Brahm touched on it, as a 3-in-1 monastery. 3-in-1. It's a monk's monastery, a nun's monastery, and a meditation centre. And of course that covers the fourfold community which Ajahn Brahm was talking about, and saying, mentioning that this is more like the time of the Buddha, really, when we have both sanghas, the dual sangha. So this is something very special about Newbury. And of course today we can just reflect, a beautiful day, how beautiful this property is, how magnificent it is, what a good choice it is to have that nature, to have that space that we have. We're not crammed in, we're not too close to the city. So it's a very special place. And I'd like to also mention, it was very good that Adrian and also Simon acknowledged the traditional owners and custodians of the land, because many people say to me, this place has a spirituality that predates, our arrival here as well. They feel it. And I think that's very good to keep in mind, that this is the case, and to acknowledge that. So this is something that's added to the depth of our experience of being here. This property's had many reincarnations, as the film said, for The Man from Snowy River, as a motel come bed and breakfast. It's very hard to categorise, actually. All these things, and now as a Buddhist monastery. And what a wonderful thing, what a marvellous purpose in this, particularly at this time in history, in experience, because I think mental health is something that a monastery, the Buddha's teaching, can really, really give a lot to, support a lot, because the Buddha's teachings is so much about the mind. So this is a wonderful gift, not only to those who are here, those that have supported the monastery, but also the whole community, really. We hope that it will be a great resource for the local people and for the whole of Victoria, and perhaps Australia too, let's see. So I won't go on too long, but just finish. One of the things you'll see, especially in the PowerPoint I do tomorrow, is a teaching from the Buddha. Impermanence. We all looked much younger. in 2014, or I was, and also 2015 when I was at the opening for the monastery too, which was, we all look much younger. So this is a teaching of the Buddha. And we are the contributors to this stage of the monastery. And there will be generations and generation after generation contributing to this monastery, making it grow, and providing the services to the community, the Buddhist community and the wider community. So I'd like to finish there, and just to finish off for the main players for today, Ayya Upekkha and also ex-Monk Jag. There we are. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajahn Nissarano. Now let us invite Ayya Upekkha to share a few words with us.
You're supposed to do something for me today. Please do it. Where you are supposed to do something for me. Thank you.
I did mention, but looks like I've breached it too much already. Let me see, where is it? Ayya would like to express her deep felt gratitude to the monks, to the nuns who have been staying with her all these years. In particular, Ayya Sunata, Ayya Sankappa, who have been staying with Ayya through thick and thin to provide support to the place and to maintain the place internally and externally. Ayya said that all this long, hard work, they have been working long, hard work very quietly behind the scene and supporting the NBM Fourfold community. In Ayya's own words, Ayya hopes that all the tiring, mundane tasks shouldered by the two Ayyas will soon be over. May both Ayyas mature spiritually along this journey towards awakening. And we hope that the day will come soon when this journey will start. They have started, but once the dana and the community services that are currently being done here in the nuns area being moved to the central zone, then the nuns area will be more operated like a proper nunnery. And that will be the time where the nuns can practice in seclusions with their own boundary, without much lay people interventions, except for a few invited lay supporters who are there to support the nuns. And this is Ayya's heartfelt wishes. Thank you, Ayya.
Thank you to Ayya Sankappa and Ayya Sunata. This is the reason why I can't give the speech. I know I'll break down. Thank you to both of them.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Ayya, for this long sacrifice. As I said, Ayya has been with the New Breed since day one, and the amount of work that she has put in is enormous. And some of the work that she put in is almost thankless. But we all, those who are in the committees and some of the communities are very grateful to Ayya for her sacrifices. Thank you, Ayya. The next, we'd like to invite John Wakefield.
Respects to the Venerables. Respects to the Venerables. Okay, so it's been a bit of a passage of time that's gone through with having been a monk and now wearing different clothing and a significantly different lifestyle. It's good to see the 10 years. It feels like it's been very quick. It's always quick for people who are not having to do the work, like the Venerables here, having to do all the work here on the property. Reflecting from how we started in the very early days with, I think, right intention. I think it's probably the most critical part is the right intention. And sometimes I think at the beginning there was some resistance to change, and that's normal. In life, people really like change. It's a fundamental teaching of the Buddha, but it doesn't mean, we like it. That is impermanence, change. But we can't get to where we are now without it, without sacrifice, without the difficulties that we all endure to get anything of value. And in life, I think it's a universal law that you can't get good things without putting effort in. And some people say, well, somebody's very rich right now and they're very successful. Yes, but can you see the effort that they put in previous lives? If we are very myopic, we only see the here and now. But looking back from the very beginning, Ayya Upekkha, even prior to being in Victoria, we were at a monastery called Santee Forest Monastery in New South Wales, which is where we met. And that's where this idea germinated. We could see the difficulties that the bhikkhuni community was having. We know the monks community is successful and strong in Perth, and it's kind of easier for monks because, I don't like that monastery, we'll just go to the other 100 monasteries that we've got on the table. But it's not the same for the ladies. They don't have a lot of monasteries where they can go to train or to go and practice and stay. So right at that beginning point, the identification of that issue, where can we go to practice, where can we go to train in Australia? And that's where we started. And that intention at the beginning, let's have something where people can come locally, locally, domestically within Australia, they can come and train, they can come and practice. Don't have to be overseas, you can practice here. Why not? The Dhamma is not a national concern. It is not just global, it's universal. Anybody, anywhere, anytime, when they have exposure to the Dhamma, can practice. They have an opportunity. You have a pulse. You have awareness, right? You're not in a coma. You can practice, right? And that's what we have here. We have a wonderful facility where people can come. As Ajahn has said, as all the venerables have been talking about, as also our president have been mentioning, you have a wonderful place here now, a place where you can come and practice. And typically as we get older, we tend to have more of a rear view mirror because the runway ahead of us is much less than the road behind us, right? And as that runway shortens, we tend to look over our shoulder more. But we need to be looking more to the future. Not just for us and for Ayya. This place isn't about next year. It's not about next 10 years. Think 50, think 100. Monasteries don't get up and move because it's not convenient, right? You can't move a monastery around like a caravan, right? Once you've established it, it's there, and it's something to be make the use out of it. Make the opportunity great, And that's something that this place will be. If looked after in accordance to the Dhamma, it will progress. When we have the opportunity to have the monks and nuns. If you go back 10 years ago, you won't see this many monks and nuns at BSB. It's a rare event, right? Very rare. Might be just for Katina or something. The monks and nuns breeze in and then they breeze out, like the ocean tide coming and going. But this here is more of an anchor. This allows the Dhamma to take hold, to take root. If you don't have the fourfold assembly, you don't have that Dhamma. And that's what this is. You have the Dhamma taking hold, taking root in Newberry, with the support from the BSV. And the one person who was here, right at the beginning, the president at the time, Prem Nararatna, I hope I got that right. So he was the first person who invited me to do a Rains retreat here, because I was at Santee at the time and I wanted to, find somewhere else to go and practice for 3 months in the Rains retreat. And it was through Prem that I got that, and also Ajahn Brahm, because Prem's on the phone, do you know this monk? And so Ajahn Brahm ordained me as a novice a long time ago. So he knew me. So yeah, he's okay. So that's how things started. That's how that connection with the BSV began. And it was Prem who's passed away, but hopefully Prem, if you're here, hopefully you got a bit of a smile on your face. If not, well, enjoy heaven. but it was through him and that I came down, and that's where things started to move. And you can see a broadening over the time. We can see a broadening of the Dhamma here in the BSV. You see monks and nuns from different traditions were able to come. Why not? They're a monk and they're a nun. We're not worried about, it's only this tradition, only that tradition. It's not what the Buddha didn't teach, Theravada or Mahayana or Vajrayana. There's no such thing at that time. Right? It's just Dhamma. You got the Sangha, you got the Dhamma, you got the Vinaya. Great. If the monks and the nuns are doing the Dhamma and the Vinaya part, well, that's fine. And that's where things grew. And then you got Sangha Mitarama, where the nuns were practicing. Ayya Upekkha was there. And from there, okay, well, we need something that's more appropriate. The city centre's good, but a monastery, and specifically a forest monastery, is better for the practice for the monks and the nuns. And when you've got high caliber monks and nuns practicing in remote places, you get high caliber lay people. Because you've got high caliber teaching. It comes back to that Dhamma again. So you've got the venerables on both sides here, and that was part of the original plan, a fourfold assembly. Monks, nuns, lay women, laymen. When you've got that, you've got the recipe for success, and we've got that here. And the only thing that we need to do now is just keep doing more of what we're doing. You're doing well. So looking forward, a lot of the effort that's been put in, the committee at the BSV, that put the hard yards in. I know, because I used to fight with them. And they would fight with me, because we would all say stuff that we don't agree with. But you know what? That's fine. If somebody's disagreeing with you about something, maybe there's something there, right? I know I'm always right, but you might be, right? You might just have a point. And if we're fighting about something, it's because we care. You don't fight about things you don't care, right? Oh, why's that bottle on the ground? I don't care. I'm not fighting with you about the bottle, whatever, right? But something like a monastery, people care about it. Something like the BSV, people care about it, right? So we'll have different opinions, and hopefully, and we have. At the end of that process, you've got the monastery. It came from a thought, and it's manifested through action, through hard work, through sacrifice, through a lot of lay people putting in the time as volunteers, through a lot of dana, monetarily, food, clothing, all the requisites that the monastics need on both sides have been supplied. And that starts with good intention, the right intention. And if we think about this in all aspects of our life, what can't we achieve? You've got an example here with the right intention. You have right action, you have the rest of it, the Eightfold Path, and that you have what we have here today. You've got the triple gem in action, obviously without the Buddha physically present, but this is as good as it gets, guys. Guys and girls. We don't have the Buddha anymore. This is as good as it gets, and it's good. It's very good. So much thanks to the Venerables on both sides, and much thanks to the committee for all of their hard work. I know it's a struggle, and the people who are project managing here, I know the pain because I'm recently been doing building and asset management, so I understand the suffering that you go through just trying to get something built. As Ajahn said, the regulations are sometimes prohibitive and difficult, but we're here. We're all sitting here. We've got a place. It's going ahead. It's going up. The support is coming through. We've got everything to look forward to, and you have every opportunity to practice the Dhamma with the good Venerables here as our teachers and guides. So I'd like to thank everyone for all of their effort, for all their sacrifice, and I wish you all the best and make the use out of this property and this facility. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thanks again for your contribution to the monastery. And it's really great to see you happy and well. And please join us again in future events. And next, I would like to invite Ajahn Nissarano to lead a blessing chant.
Yes.
Thanks, Ajahn.
Thank you, Simon. So this chant is, of course, there's going to be the dedication of merit, and we dedicate the merit to, I think today there was going to be some particular merit to Dr. Ishani's, Dr. Vimukti's mother who passed away in Sri Lanka just recently. I think they're here, Dr. Ishani and Dr. Vimukti, just to mention that. But of course it's for all our family and friends who've passed away. And for those particularly that have been involved with the Buddhist Society of Victoria, have been involved with this project, building this monastery, because some of them have passed away. As I mentioned, impermanence is taking place, change is taking place while we sit here, actually. It's ongoing, it doesn't stop. And so this is, oh, you've got this, Sadhu, thank you, thanks, very good. This is the dedication of merits, that's right. And it's for, Mrs. Mary Patiraja, 81 years old, mother of Dr. Vimukti Patiraja and Dr. Ishani. And it was Dr. Ishani's mother-in-law. And she passed away on the 22nd of July, 2024. So and they're offering the dana today. So that's lovely that we've got that dedication. May she have a good rebirth. When we dedicate merit, we're always thinking, may they have a good rebirth, and a good rebirth with contact with the Dhamma. Otherwise it's not so good. So that's wonderful that you've come today. Nice to see you again. That's good. And so may she have a good rebirth, a happy rebirth. So that's part of this dedication. Of course it's for the living too. We keep them in mind for their recovery from illness or whatever. And of course the main part of the chanting is a super duper chanting. We use it in Western Australia for special occasions, and it's wishing by the power of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha and all the Dhammas and lots of things, that we may be free of all the negative things like sickness, fear, obstacles, misfortune, bad signs, all sorts of things, and that we increase in long life, in health, in wealth, in splendour, it says, in fame and in strength, beauty and happiness. There we are. And it goes on. So by the power of this may we be free of suffering. This is illness, fear, hatred, sorrow, and, as I say, misfortunes. So this is a very super duper blessing, and it ends with a wish that you may have a lifespan of 100 years. Ajahn Brahm mentioned this once when we chanted, and somebody said, I don't want to live for 100 years, thank you very much. Of course, quality is the most important thing. And we'll end up with a little chant of metta in English. So this is the super duper chanting. First of all, the dedication of merit. Idang vonyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang vonyati nang hotu Sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang vonyati nang hotu Sukita hontu nyatayo. This is for your family and friends who have passed away. May they be happy. Samba Buddha Nubhawena Samba Dhamma Nubhawena Samba Sangha Nubhawena Buddha Ratana Dhamma Ratana Sangha Ratana Tinang Ratananang Nanubhawena Chaturasiti Saha Sadhamma Kanda Nubhawena Takadyanubhawena Jinasawaka Nubhawena Sambete Roga Sambete Baya Sambete Antaraya Sambete Upadawa Sambete Dunimita Sambete Avamangala Vinasantu Ayuvandako Dhanavandako Sirivandako Yasavandako Valavandako Dhanavandako Sukhavandako Hotu Samada Dukkha Roga Bhaya Vera Sukha Sattu Chupadawa Aneka Antaraya Pivinasantu Chatejasa Jaya Siddhidanam Labam Soti Bhagyang Sukham Balam Siriyayucha Vanocha Ogham Buddhi Chayasawa Satava Satcha Ayucha Jiva Siddhi Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Samba Mangalam Rakantu Samba Devata Samba Buddhanubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Samba Mangalam Rakantu Samba Devata Samba Dhammanubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Samba Mangalam Rakantu Samba Devata Samba Sanghanubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te. May you abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may you maintain well-being in yourselves. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. Sadhu, 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 sadhu. There we are. So that's the super duper blessing for this special occasion, the 10th anniversary. And I think Simon will probably announce the next section. I think I know what it is.
Hold on. Sorry, I forgot something as I forgot to mention. In part of my acknowledgement and thanks to the community, I've thanked the Sanghas really. But one person I haven't sort of missed out is long-term lay residents in the Newbury. So we have quite a lot of lay residents who've been staying at Newbury who help around. But the longest and is still with us is Richard Combe. I'd like to acknowledge his great support all these years to support and maintain the property, and also supporting the monks in the Sangha house too. And we wish him all the best, and we'd like to say thank you and grateful to his contributions to the Newbury.
And dear friends, the next segment of the program is cutting the cake. So let's all gather outside and enjoy the sunshine while the monastic or Ajahns and everyone else is cutting the cake. So thanks. Let's move out, please.
Where is the cake going to be cut, Simon? Outside, is it?
Outside.
Oh, it is. All right. All right. Good. I didn't see it.
We can pick up the food and leave them there.
Yeah.
Pick up the food and then we go out to Monastery. Yeah.
So take your bowls.
Yeah.
That's good. I will stay. Are you staying, Ajahn? Or you like to? You don't want to stay?